the California dream. For generations, it whispered promises of sunshine, opportunity, and home ownership. But for today's first-time home buyers, that dream has morphed into a brutal, often heartbreaking nightmare. Imagine meticulously saving every penny for a down payment, only to find that even a modest starter home requires a $1 million mortgage with monthly payments that defy logic. This isn't just a challenge, it's an impossible climb for countless aspiring homeowners. From the tech titans of Silicon Valley to the sprawling coastal metros, California's housing market has become a fortress, fortified by stratospheric prices, relentless competition, and a labyrinth of hidden costs. High mortgage rates are the obvious villain, but that's just the beginning. Skyrocketing property taxes, mind-boggling insurance premiums for wildfire and earthquake risk, and a severe shortage of entry-level homes are slamming the door shut on an entire generation. Which cities, once beacons of aspiration, have become the ultimate proving grounds where the odds are stacked overwhelmingly against first-time buyers? Where is the very idea of a starter home a cruel joke, and the path to ownership littered with insurmountable financial hurdles? We're diving deep into the brutal realities. Get ready for a sobering truth. Today, Discover the Nation unveils the top 10 worst cities for first-time homebuyers in California. If you're hoping to buy your first home here, this is your wake-up call.
Number 10. Sacramento, California. Kicking off our list at number 10, Sacramento, California. Once widely hailed as the affordable Bay Area escape, this state capital became a beacon of hope for those seeking larger homes and lower costs away from the coast. But in 2025, even Sacramento has become an increasingly disheartening proving ground for first-time homebuyers, as its reputation for value has been eclipsed by harsh financial realities. While its median home price hovers around $500,000, for a first-time buyer, this figure presents a formidable obstacle. Why is Sacramento so tough for those just starting out? The core problem is that home prices here soared by over 40% during the pandemic frenzy, driven by an influx of Bay Area migrants. However, local wage growth, primarily in government and healthcare sectors, simply hasn't kept pace. The median household income in Sacramento hovers around $75,000, a figure that clashes severely with current housing costs. Now, with 30-year fixed mortgage rates stuck stubbornly near 7%, a $500,000 home demands a monthly payment of over $3,300 for principal and interest alone before taxes and insurance. That figure consumes a prohibitive portion of a typical first-time buyer's gross income, an unsustainable budget for those also battling everyday inflation. Adding to the pain, inventory has surged across the Sacramento metro, creating more choices but also highlighting the stubborn price points. Homes now sit for longer periods, and while price cuts occur, they're often not deep enough to truly bridge the affordability gap for first-timers. Property taxes in Sacramento County average around 1.2%, adding another significant monthly burden, over $400 for a $500K home. The dream of finding a first home in Sacramento, once a realistic alternative to coastal California, has largely evaporated for its own aspiring local homeowners. Number 9. Long Beach, California. Sailing into our number 9 spot, Long Beach, California. This vibrant coastal city, known for its diverse neighborhoods and bustling port, might seem like a more approachable entry point to the Southern California dream than its hyper-expensive neighbors. But in 2025, Long Beach has become an exceptionally challenging harbor for first-time homebuyers, actively pushing them back out to sea. With a median home price hovering around $720,000, the affordability here is a cruel mirage. The core struggle in Long Beach is the relentless demand for its limited housing stock, coupled with prices that remain stubbornly high despite national cooling trends. For a first-time buyer, often grappling with limited savings, the down payment alone for a $720,000 home is a staggering six-figure sum, typically $72,000 for just 10% down. This immediately filters out countless aspiring homeowners. Then comes the monthly burden. With mortgage rates near 7%, the principal and interest payment alone for such a home skyrockets past $4,800 before you even consider property taxes around 1.25% in LA County, adding another $750 plus monthly, and insurance. This combined monthly outlay often far exceeds the financial capacity of typical first-time buyer incomes in the area, which average around $75,000. Adding to the pressure, while inventory has seen a modest increase, demand still significantly outstrips supply for starter homes and condos, leading to competitive situations even in a slower market. Homes often still receive multiple offers, albeit fewer than at the peak, making it tough for first-timers without aggressive bids. The city's aging housing stock also means many entry-level homes require significant renovations, adding unforeseen costs that can quickly derail a first-time buyer's budget. Long Beach still holds its charm, but for those trying to get their first foot on the property ladder, it's a relentless climb against the tide of insurmountable costs.
Number 8. Oakland, California. Rattling into our number 8 spot, Oakland, California. Long touted as San Francisco's affordable alternative with its vibrant culture and diverse communities, Oakland was once the hope for Bay Area first-time homebuyers. But in 2025, that hope has largely vanished, replaced by a harsh reality where entry-level homeownership is increasingly out of reach. With a median home price still soaring around $780,000, this market is anything but a welcoming embrace for new buyers. Oakland's challenge for first-timers is a multifaceted beast. While its prices might be lower than San Francisco's, they are still astronomically high for the median household income of roughly $85,000. A 10% down payment alone demands $78,000 up front, a sum few first-timers have accumulated. The real crunch comes with the monthly payments. At current 7% mortgage rates, a $780,000 home translates to a principal and interest payment exceeding $5,200 per month, not including the Bay Area's notoriously high property taxes, often 1.2 to 1.5%, adding another $800 to $1,000 plus monthly, and insurance. This total monthly outlay easily consumes over 70% of a typical first-time buyer's gross income, a financial black hole. Adding to the pressure, Oakland's inventory, while up from its peak, often lacks desirable entry-level options. Many available homes are either high-end or require extensive renovations that first-timers can't afford. Competition, though subdued, remains fierce for the few affordable gems. Furthermore, concerns about rising property crime rates, perceived safety issues, and fluctuating job market in sectors that disproportionately employ younger workers, like tech startups, contribute to an atmosphere of caution. The promise of Oakland as the accessible Bay Area entry point has faded, leaving first-time homebuyers facing a relentless uphill battle against an unforgiving financial landscape. Number 7. Irvine, California. Marching into our number 7 spot, Irvine, California. This master-planned oasis in Orange County, celebrated for its top-tier schools, pristine parks, and sprawling corporate campuses, epitomizes the suburban California dream. Yet for first-time homebuyers, Irvine has become an impossibly polished fortress, its gates guarded by sky-high prices that laugh in the face of affordability. With a median home price stubbornly holding around a staggering $1.1 million, even in a cooling market, this city demands a level of financial muscle few first-timers possess. The sheer entry cost in Irvine is its first-time buyer's undoing. Even if you manage a 10% down payment, that's a cool $110,000 up front. Then comes the monthly bill. At current 7% mortgage rates, a $780,000 home translates to a principal and interest payment exceeding $5,200 per month, not including the Bay Area's notoriously high property taxes, often 1.2 to 1.5%, adding another $800 to $1,000 monthly, and insurance. This total monthly outlay easily consumes over 70% of a typical first-time buyer's gross income, making it utterly unsustainable.
Adding to the despair, while overall inventory might have seen a slight increase, the supply of truly starter homes or entry-level condos is shockingly scarce. First-time buyers are not only battling astronomical prices, but also a severe lack of suitable options, forcing them into bidding wars for anything remotely attainable. The dream of raising a family in Irvine's acclaimed school districts remains just that, a dream, for the vast majority of aspiring first-time homeowners, who are locked out by a combination of prohibitive costs and an unwavering demand from highly affluent buyers.
Number 6. San Diego, California. Dropping into our number 6 spot, San Diego, California, the finest city in America, famed for its endless sunshine, stunning coastline, and relaxed lifestyle, might seem like paradise. But for first-time homebuyers, this paradise comes with a brutal price tag, making it one of the most punishing markets to enter in 2025. With median home prices still hovering around a jaw-dropping $880,000, the Golden Beaches hide a financial quicksand for aspiring homeowners. The core challenge for first-time buyers in San Diego is the stark and unforgiving affordability gap. The city's median household income, around $85,000, simply doesn't align with home values that demand a six-figure down payment, at least $88,000 for 10% down. More critically, the monthly mortgage burden at 7% rates for an $880,000 home hits over $5,800 for principal and interest alone. When you add San Diego County's property taxes, around 1.1%, adding another $800 plus monthly, and the skyrocketing insurance premiums for coastal and wildfire-prone areas, easily adding $300 to $500 plus monthly, the total housing cost can quickly exceed $7,000 per month. This means over 90% of a typical first-timer's gross income would go to housing, a financial impossibility. While inventory has surged, up over 60% in some parts of San Diego County, much of this new supply is in higher price points or in less desirable locations, leaving the entry-level market still incredibly tight. Even with more homes on the market, the absolute price remains the insurmountable barrier. Furthermore, the strong military presence and retiree population create consistent demand, limiting any significant price relief for first-timers. The dream of owning a piece of San Diego's sunny paradise remains painfully out of reach for a generation simply trying to get their first foothold, as the city's allure continues to outpace its affordability. Number 5. Santa Barbara, California. Halting our countdown at number 5, Santa Barbara, California. This picturesque coastal enclave, often called the American Riviera, boasts breathtaking ocean views, Mediterranean architecture, and an exclusive, luxurious lifestyle. It's a dream destination for many, but for first-time homebuyers, Santa Barbara is less of a dream and more of an impenetrable fortress, where entering the housing market is virtually impossible. With a median home price that easily tops $1.8 million, this city exists in an affordability stratosphere all its own. The very concept of a first-time homebuyer in Santa Barbara is almost a contradiction in terms. For a property valued at $1.8 million, a minimum 10% down payment is a colossal $180,000. Even with a generous 20% down, you're looking at $360,000 up front. These figures are simply astronomical for anyone without generational wealth or a multi-million-dollar salary, placing it completely beyond the reach of a typical first-time buyer. The monthly mortgage payment alone at 7% rates for an $880,000 home hits over $12,000 per month for principal and interest alone. When you add San Diego County's property taxes, around 1.1%, adding another $800 plus monthly, and the exorbitant insurance premiums for its high-risk coastal and hillside locations, easily adding $700 to $1,000 plus monthly, the total housing cost can quickly exceed $7,000 per month. This means over 90% of a typical first-timer's gross income would go to housing, a financial impossibility. While inventory has surged up over 60% in some parts of San Diego County, much of this new supply is in higher price points or in less desirable locations, leaving the entry-level market still incredibly tight. Even with more homes on the market, the absolute price remains the insurmountable barrier. Furthermore, the strong military presence and retiree population create consistent demand, limiting any significant price relief for first-timers. The dream of owning a piece of San Diego's sunny paradise remains painfully out of reach for a generation simply trying to get their first foothold, as the city's allure continues to outpace its affordability.
Number 4. Santa Clarita. Dropping into number 4, Santa Clarita. This sprawling, family-friendly valley city in northern Los Angeles County was once considered a haven for commuters seeking more space and relative value away from the dense urban core. But in 2025, Santa Clarita has transformed into an increasingly formidable obstacle course for first-time homebuyers, where the promise of a spacious suburban life often comes with an unattainable price tag. With a median home price averaging a daunting $720,000, its reputation for affordability is rapidly eroding. The overwhelming challenge in Santa Clarita is the stark disconnect between its elevated home prices and the wages of its working families. For a first-time buyer eyeing a $720,000 home, a 10% down payment demands a significant $72,000 up front. Even with this substantial initial investment, the monthly mortgage payment at current 7% interest rates skyrockets to over $4,800 for principal and interest alone. When you factor in Los Angeles County's property taxes, around 1.25%, adding another $750+ monthly, and common HOA fees in its numerous master plan communities, the total housing burden can easily exceed $5,700 per month. Comparing this to Santa Clarita's median household income of around $100,000, this outlay consumes over 2/3 of a typical first-time buyer's gross income, a simply unsustainable strain. Adding to the pressure, while overall inventory has increased, the supply of truly entry-level homes that match typical first-timer budgets remains scarce. Homes, particularly those in desirable school districts, still attract competition, albeit less intense than at the peak. Furthermore, the reliance on long commutes to job centers in LA means additional significant costs for gas and vehicle maintenance, further eroding a first-timer's disposable income. The dream of a spacious, family-friendly home in Santa Clarita remains painfully out of reach for many aspiring buyers, as the city's popularity has paradoxically priced out its own next generation of homeowners. Number 3. San Jose. Crashing into our number 3 spot, San Jose, the undisputed, undeniable capital of Silicon Valley itself, where million-dollar homes are not an exception but the absolute norm, and tech wealth once seemed limitless. But for first-time homebuyers, this bastion of prosperity has become an almost unassailable fortress, proving that the very pinnacle of the tech boom is the most unforgiving landscape for new ownership. With a median home price still hovering around a staggering $1.45 million, San Jose actively defies the very concept of a first home. The numbers here speak a brutal truth. For a first-time buyer, a 10% down payment means shelling out $145,000 up front. The monthly mortgage payment at current 7% rates blasts past $9,600 for principal and interest alone. Adding Santa Clara County's property taxes, often 1.25%, adding another $1,500+ monthly, and California's increasing insurance costs, the total monthly outlay can easily exceed $11,000 to $12,000. Even with San Jose's incredibly high median household income, which can reach $130,000 plus, this level of housing cost consumes an astronomical percentage of gross income, making it virtually impossible for new entrants. While the tech industry has seen some layoffs and hiring freezes, the sheer underlying wealth and ongoing demand for specialized talent keep prices anchored at unattainable levels for first-timers. Inventory, though perhaps slightly up from its absolute lowest points, remains severely constrained, especially for starter-level properties. Any modest home that comes on the market is still met with intense competition, often with multiple offers that leave little room for negotiation. San Jose isn't just one of the worst cities for first-time homebuyers. It's a stark, painful symbol of a market so overheated, so exclusive, that the dream of owning a slice of Silicon Valley has become a cruel, unattainable fantasy for the vast majority.
Number 2. Los Angeles.
Skidding into our number 2 spot, Los Angeles, the sprawling, dazzling epicenter of entertainment, culture, and ambition, a city where dreams are made and often where homeownership dreams are utterly crushed for first-timers. While LA offers a diverse job market and endless allure, the sheer scale of its housing crisis makes it an almost impossible battleground for aspiring homeowners. With a countywide median home price still around a daunting $900,000, stepping onto the property ladder here feels like scaling a skyscraper with bare hands. The affordability crisis in Los Angeles is a relentless opponent for first-time buyers. A 10% down payment on a $900,000 home demands a staggering $90,000 up front. Then comes the monthly mortgage payment. At current 7% interest rates, the principal and interest alone rockets past $6,000 per month. When you add in Los Angeles County's property taxes, averaging 1.25%, adding another $900 plus monthly, and the increasing insurance premiums due to widespread wildfire and earthquake risks, easily adding $400 to $600 plus monthly, the total housing burden can easily exceed $7,500 per month. Comparing this to LA's median household income of around $85,000, this means over 100% of a typical first-time buyer's monthly gross income would be devoured by housing alone, a simply unsustainable scenario. Despite the vastness of the city, the inventory of truly affordable entry-level homes is perpetually scarce in desirable neighborhoods. Competition remains fierce for anything priced below the $1 million mark, often involving multiple offers, including cash bids. The high cost of living in general, transportation, utilities, food, further erodes savings and makes it impossible to accrue the necessary funds. For first-time homebuyers, Los Angeles isn't just difficult, it's a monumental, often futile struggle against systemic forces that price them out before they even begin.
Number 1. San Francisco. Topping our list as the single worst city for first-time homebuyers in all of California in 2025, San Francisco. This iconic city of rolling hills, tech innovation, and breathtaking views has become a financial black hole for anyone trying to purchase their first home. While it remains a global magnet for talent and wealth, for first-time buyers, it's less a dream and more a cruel, unattainable fantasy, where the concept of a starter home simply does not exist. With a median home price stubbornly clinging to $1.2 million, even after recent dips, San Francisco remains in a league of its own for unaffordability. The financial barriers here are not just high, they are insurmountable for the vast majority of first-time homebuyers. A 10% down payment on a $1.2 million home demands a mind-boggling $120,000 up front, a sum few can accumulate. Then the monthly mortgage payment, at current 7% interest rates, skyrockets to over $8,000 for principal and interest alone. Factor in San Francisco's notoriously high property taxes, averaging 1.25%, adding over $1,200 monthly, exorbitant HOA fees common for its abundant condos, often $500 to $1,000 plus monthly, and California's rising insurance costs, and the total monthly housing burden easily surpasses $10,000. Even with San Francisco's incredibly high median household income, which can reach $120,000 plus, this astronomical monthly outlay consumes nearly 100% of a typical first-time buyer's gross income, an utterly unsustainable and impossible scenario. Despite recent tech layoffs and some outmigration, the underlying wealth and extreme scarcity of buildable land keep housing prices anchored at prohibitive levels. Inventory, especially for single-family homes, is perpetually constrained, leading to intense competition for even dated properties. First-time buyers are not just priced out, they are simply outclassed by all cash buyers, seasoned investors, and those with immense equity. San Francisco isn't just one of the worst cities for first-time homebuyers, it is the ultimate symbol of a housing market that has become utterly detached from the financial realities of a first-time buyer, offering only a painful, unattainable mirage of home ownership.